Hi, and welcome to House Blend on SCV TV. I'm Stephen K. Peoples, your House Blend host. Thanks for dropping in. Now, for the next hour, the spotlight is on Dirk Fisher, the man and his music. Dirk is the noted big band jazz composer and arranger, band leader, and leader of the jazz department at College of the Canyons for 27 years until he retired in late 2004. We'll see and hear live performances of his songs and arrangements by the 9-piece Little Big Band Off the Record, directed by Dan Cobb. And we'll have Dirk in the studio to talk about those and about his second big band album with George Stone, titled Coming of Age. Well, welcome to House Blend, Dirk. We're very honored to have you with us here.
Same here.
Fantastic. Now, before you retired, we spoke on SCV TV's Newsmakers, and we had an hour to cover your illustrious history. But could you give us just a couple minutes of recap how you got from Michigan to COC?
Man from boy.
Yeah.
Durand, Michigan, a town of 3,000 people. The roundhouse and repair shops for the Grand Trunk Railway. Moved from there at age 16 to Grand Rapids, to the big city. Went to high school in Grand Rapids. Inducted into the Army at 18 years of age. Already a proficient trumpet player.
And this was in the middle of World War II, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
1943, inducted in the Army. 3 years in Army bands, for the most part. A couple of years of schooling after that under the GI Bill in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right.
And then roughly about 15 years on traveling orchestras, working generally in the Midwest and then armed forces installations. Finally in 1959, immigrated to California. My brother, who was already here, as the accompanist for the high-lows, told me that if I was going to starve, I might as well do it in the sunshine.
Yeah.
But that was 50 years ago.
Right.
Eventually, one thing led to another after being in the industry for a while, and also as a mostly ghostwriting. My name was not on much of anything, except my brother's copy work. I also was a contractor on many of his recording gigs and things like that. And then finally an opportunity to find a place to play at the College of the Canyons, and in so doing, ran up against Robert K. Downs, and who already had a big band at the school.
Right.
And so I played in his trombone section and started writing for the band. And as he was advanced into an administrative position, he prodded me into getting myself credentialed. And so I wound up actually taking over the jazz department at the school.
And for 27 years,
For 27 years.
You were the man there.
At the same time, the first 6-7 years, at least till 1980, I was also the proprietor of a coffee shop in Van Nuys.
Yes.
Catty corner across the street from the News and Green Sheet.
That was the Red Owl, right?
Owl Coffee Shop.
Owl Coffee Shop, yeah.
Same thing, only different.
Yeah. And then you were also involved with the Saugus Cafe for a while, too.
That was after we had sold the place. I was at the Saugus Cafe as chef when the owner bought the company out of bankruptcy, and I was there for 6 years. I trained most of the crew. Some of them are still there.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit later about your latest album, Coming of Age, which you recorded with one of your former students, George Stone. But another local group called Off the Record also recently taped some performances of your material right here at the SCV TV studios. And tell us a little bit about that group and Dan Cobb and how you're involved with them.
Well, essentially, after retiring, I involved myself in the smaller group as a vehicle to continue writing. most writers write for what's available so they can get rapid feedback from their material.
Right.
And it turns out his small group, incidentally composed of quite a few people that are native actually to the Santa Clarita Valley out here, been to school out here. And so for the last 5 years now, I've been writing for that group. And this is a sample, not necessarily of what they do altogether, but circumstances were such that they needed to play original music. And this is some of my original music for smaller group.
Well, the first one we're going to hear is called Malukamus Gookum. Say what? If you can, briefly, what's the story behind that?
In a jazz improv class, I brought the arrangement in it with no name and asked them to think up a name, and they all contributed, and they finally decided on, I forget the drummer's name, but he came up with this name, and they voted on the name. So consequently, the name is a joint project.
That's pretty hilarious. All right, well, right now on House Blend, let's hear Off the Record performing Dirk Fischer's Malukamus Gookum. Off the Record here on House Blend on SCV TV with Malukinous Gookum. It's a piece Dirk Fisher wrote for the jazz improv class at College of the Canyons. I'm Stephen K. Peoples, your House Blend host, and I'll be back with Dirk and more Off the Record right after this short break.